Hello my dears and welcome back to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon and tonight I've got another spoiler-free book review to share with you guys. And today we are talking about the forthcoming release from popular Australian author Liane Moriarty, and this is Here One Moment. Now I grabbed this when I saw it on NetGalley without really knowing anything about it because I've read some of Liane's books before, like Big Little Lies and a few others. That's the big one that sticks out because it got made into the HBO show starring like Meryl Streep, Nicole Kidman, Alexander Skarsgård. And I loved it, so I grabbed this, and let me just tell you, the setup for this book, like when you start it, first of all, it starts off with a bang, and the premise is so fun and it's so good, and I couldn't put it down. So basically we have a bunch of people getting on a plane in one part of Australia, and they're going to be flying to another part of Australia. And we're watching the plane board, and we're sort of from the point of view of this older lady named Cherry, and she's sitting on the plane, and there's a delay, and there's a holdup, and we're popping inside the heads of a lot of other passengers. Like, we know one guy who's sitting across the aisle from Cherry, he's late to get to his daughter's performance of The Lion King at her school. It's like a big deal, and he promised her he'd be home, and there's no way he's gonna make it now. Then there's like a newlywed couple headed for their honeymoon, like she's still in her wedding dress, the whole bit. And we're just getting to know briefly some of these passengers. Anyway, after a lot of delay, the plane takes off. And after it does, our girl Cherry, she stands up, just stands up, and she goes out into the aisle of the plane, and she's just standing there, and she's standing there, but she's not there. Like, she's gone. She's in some sort of trance. I'm laughing because I'm imagining being on this plane. Anyway, she turns to the first guy, the one who's late for his daughter's Lion King performance, and she says, "I expect 43 workplace accident." And he's kind of like, "What?" And she's like, the time and place of your death." And he's like, "What?" And then she starts going down the plane, pointing at everybody and telling them the time and place of their death. And like, it gets to the point, she goes back a few rows, there's a woman named Paula, and she's there with her two small children, like a toddler and an infant. And when Cherry gets to them, she points first at one of the kids, the daughter, Willow, and Paula's like, no, please, do not tell me. But like I said, Cherry's gone. She's not in there. She says the daughter's age and place of death, and then the toddler, she tells him 7. He's gonna drown when he's 7. But of course she's saying it in this very robotic way, like, "I expect drowning age 7. And the mom's like, "Ooh, what?" And then the married couple, and this isn't spoilers, it happens right at the beginning. The married couple, the newlyweds, just like still in their wedding clothes, she tells them, so like she gives them the husband a date, it's whatever, he's old. Then she turns to the wife and she says 25, intimate partner homicide. Understandably, they're both shaken up by this. Him especially. He's like, "What do you mean?" Because one thing we later learn about him is he's a sleepwalker. So he becomes horrified, terrified, traumatized that he's going to hurt her in his sleep. Anyway, so right at the beginning of the book, we get all this info, and I was invested right off the bat. I was like, this is incredible setup. From there, we go back and forth between chapters from Cherry's point of view, the old lady psychic, and we get to learn about her and her childhood and her life and all the way up to present day. And then it alternates between a chapter from her point of view and then a chapter from one of the passengers on the plane. And there's like 4 or 5 that we follow in the days that come, especially ones that have looming death dates, like the man who was trying to get to his daughter's concert. She told him 43, workplace accident. Well, he's 42 currently, about to turn 43 in a few months. And then another guy, she said, like, you're gonna die during a physical assault when you're 30, and well, he's a month away from turning 30, things like that. And we follow them, and basically it's the story of what do you do when you're given this kind of information. What do you do? How do you live? How do you live? Can it be changed? Can you make different choices now that you have this info that you wouldn't have made if you did have the info? Wait. Can making different choices now that you do have the info cause a different outcome than if you hadn't had the info? And it's a look at that. It's a look at, free will, destiny, things like that, especially shortly after the plane lands, there is a death. A young girl dies in a car accident, and that had been predicted on the plane. And then it's like, yeah, what happens what do you do with that info? How do you live differently? And I thought it was a really interesting look at that. And I liked seeing how everybody's lives played out after the fact. The ways their lives were made better based on the choices, even if, like, whether or not the predictions come true, which you will find out in the book, but whether or not they do come true, it's the choices. I like seeing the choices they make that enrich their lives in the meantime. Like maybe you reach out to a friend that you lost touch with because you think you're on borrowed time, and now you've reconnected, whereas if you didn't have that fire under you right now, you wouldn't have. You would have wasted more time, things like that. The ways you spend time with family that you wouldn't have if you didn't think you were about to die. And I really liked it. I think a lot of people are going to like this book a lot. For me, I think I'm going to give it a 4 stars. I liked it a lot, and I can't tell you what's keeping me from giving it a 5-star, but I'm going with 4 stars. And I liked it a lot and would definitely recommend it. I don't even know what genre you'd call it. It's definitely sort of that, it's not a thriller, but it keeps you guessing. And she's so good at ending chapters in a way that you can't stop. You're like, what? And especially where it goes back and forth between perspectives. So it'll have a cliffhanger ending of a chapter. Well, you're not going to see that character again for another 3 or 4 chapters. So you got to keep reading. I read it very quickly. And it's fairly lengthy. It's almost 500 pages. But I couldn't put it down. Anyway, you guys, I hope you're having a great weekend. It's Friday. I keep thinking it's Saturday, but it's only Friday. And it's a long weekend here because Monday, August 5th, is Family Day. So that's here in Canada, or here in Alberta anyway. I don't know if it's across country or just in Alberta. I don't know. But happy Family Day. And I will see you guys again real soon. Bye.